In the heart of the ancient kingdom of Eloen, nestled between crimson mountains and mist-veiled forests, there lived a boy named Kyle. He was the son of a candlemaker, known not for strength or swordsmanship, but for the glimmer of curiosity always dancing in his eyes. He often asked questions the elders had no answers for, and stayed up late reading by waxlight, dreaming of stars and distant lands. For generations, legends told of a phoenix, a bird of flame and rebirth, said to appear once every 500 years. Its feathers shimmered like molten gold. Its eyes held the sorrow and wisdom of centuries. Most believed it was a myth, a tale for fireside storytelling. But Kyle believed otherwise. It began on a stormy night when lightning split the sky and his grandmother whispered her final words. "Follow the embers, child. Where the fire weeps, the phoenix breathes." She had been the village storyteller, the keeper of forgotten truths. Her death struck Kale like a silent storm. Those words burned in Kale's heart long after her ashes cooled. Months passed, then years. When he turned 17, he packed a small satchel with bread, a compass, and a charred feather he found in her belongings. It pulsed faintly warm in his hand. He knew it was no ordinary feather. Something ancient slept within it. He left the village before dawn, without farewells. His journey led him to the ashen woods, where trees grew black and brittle, their bark scorched as if a great fire had swept through long ago. Creatures watched from the shadows with ember eyes. Kyle wandered for days, unsure of direction, until a murmuring wind carried the scent of smoke. There, by a broken tree, stood a woman cloaked in soot-colored robes. Her eyes were milky with blindness, but she turned as if she saw him. "You seek the phoenix?" she rasped, her voice like leaves brushing stone. Kale nodded. "Then you must first be burned." Before he could ask what she meant, she reached out and touched his chest. A jolt of heat flared through him, not pain, but memory. He saw his home, his grandmother, laughter, tears, then silence. He collapsed, unconscious. When he awoke, he was in a cave of obsidian deep beneath the mountain roots. Carvings of flames spiraled on the walls. His feather was glowing, bright as a sunrise. There were voices around him, not spoken but sung, like echoes of ancient beings. Some sounded like chants, others like distant cries of birds. A voice whispered, "To find the phoenix, you must seek not the bird, but the death that brings new life." Confused but undeterred, Kale continued through narrow tunnels, climbing until he emerged into a valley of glass, where the ground shimmered like mirror and the air smelled of lightning. Strange flowers grew in cracks between the glass, their petals flickering like candle flames. There he met a girl named Ira, a sky messenger, raised among cloud spirits. She, too, searched for the phoenix, but for different reasons. "My people are fading," she said. "Only the phoenix's song can wake the sky again. We've lived without sunrise for nearly a decade." Era wore robes stitched from starlight and silver thread. Her eyes held storms, her voice wind. Reluctantly, Kale allowed her to join him. The feather in his pouch glowed brighter in her presence, as if acknowledging her purpose. Together they crossed salt deserts, where wind screamed and bones of ancient beasts littered the dunes. They survived quicksand, hallucinations, and a sandstorm so fierce it blinded them for 2 days. They took turns keeping watch at night, speaking of lost things, Kale of family, Era of skies that once sang. In a ruined city swallowed by dunes, they found a mural. A phoenix with wings spread wide, its body made of stars and ash. Beneath it, words were etched in a forgotten tongue. Era translated them aloud. "The flame forgets, then remembers. Seek the place where fire mourns." Following this cryptic clue, They ventured into the sulfur canyons where the very air hissed. There, Kyle began to see visions in the flames at night. A face half-remembered, places he'd never been, and the phoenix soaring through firestorms. At the edge of the world, they reached the weeping firefalls, where lava flowed like tears down a wall of crystal. No birds sang, no wind moved. It was a place of unbearable stillness. It was here, the legend said, that the phoenix came to die and be reborn. But there was no sign of it, just silence and the weight of centuries. Cale felt despair creeping in. Had he come all this way chasing smoke? Then Ira stepped forward and sang. Not words, but a tone, soft, ancient, trembling with hope. It was a lullaby from her skyfolk. The air shimmered, the lava slowed, the crystals began to glow faintly. And then it rose. A cyclone of flame twisted from the firefalls, coalescing into wings, enormous, radiant, alive. The phoenix emerged, crowned in fire, its feathers trailing spark